seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
What's up? What's up? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, so we have a special show tonight. Everybody loves history and anything from any kind of sports. You know, bare knuckles becoming massive, and but bare knuckles been around for hundreds of years. And we have Mr. Scott Burks on, and we have MMAcoin Jay right beside me up here. And Mr. Scott, we just want you to tell us some really cool history tonight about the police Gazette.
Well, how are you guys doing? And what's the weather where you are? Up here, we had 9 degrees today.
It was actually
degrees here.
You know what's crazy? We're right around in the low 30s, but last week we hit like 19 and we got 9 inches of snow. It was 78 one day and then it went down like that. And it was unreal.
Wow. Yeah, well, I'm coming to you from my home in Scioto, New York. That's about an hour and a half south of Buffalo. And I'm 20 minutes away from Belfast, which we've nicknamed Knuckletown, USA. And it's stuck. And if you haven't been there, if your followers haven't been there, they got to come. And I got to give them a tour of the Hall of Fame and the Police Gazette. Now, the Hall of Fame is where John L. Sullivan trained in 1889 for his famous fight. Boys, that fight went 2 hours and 16 minutes outside in 104-degree weather. Oh my goodness, and went 75 rounds.
That's some heart there. That's hard.
Now, in 1889, he won $20,000 and the Police Gazette belt.
Oh, that's some good money then. Okay, I can see that.
Not bad. He gave a lot of it away. But the reason he came to Belfast, and I got to tell you, Belfast is a little blink of a town. We have a public high school that's in one building, K through 12, and we graduate 22 kids a year. And we don't even have a traffic light. But we've got the jewel of everything. And the reason it's here is because Muldoon was John L. Sullivan's trainer. And he came from Belfast. William Muldoon was the heralded, undefeated Greco-Roman wrestler of the time. And he was the first one ever, guys, to think that the physical culture meant something. Anybody else, back then they would just go out and lift some weights and do whatever and beat the hell out of people, and that's the way they trained. But he thought, there's something to the way that people train that is important. He saw his opportunity to step in and help Sullivan try to regain his title, because a lot of people don't realize that he was the American champion, then stripped of his title by my predecessor, Richard K. Fox. There's only been 2 of us ever in charge of the Police Gazette because it was dormant for many years. So he stripped Sullivan from the American belt, added diamonds to it, and then named Jake Kilrain as the world champion. So actually, this heralded fight was not him winning the championship. He did not go in as the fighter, I should say, the champion, I should say. He went in as the challenger, and a lot of people don't realize that. And he was a 5-1 underdog, and when he took his robe off, betting evened up quite quickly. And although Kilrain drew first blood, in the end, it was Sullivan that won. The doctor stepped in and said, if we send Kilrain back in, his head is going to come off his shoulders. The place went wild. It was all illegal. It's always been illegal. People say, well, this is the first legal one since 18. No. It's always been illegal, always against the law until just a few years ago when BKFC went and locally and went to all those different states. And then those commissions, actually, a lot of those commissions called me, too, because they wanted to know about someone who's independent, their opinion on the safety and all of that. But anyway, to go back to Muldoon, he said, let me take him Johnny to my farm in little old Belfast, New York, where I grew up, and I will train him. And if he wins, I get $10,000. And if he loses, I will take nothing. He saw the opportunity. So he trained him, and Sullivan won. And then Muldoon went on, guys, to train President Taft, President Roosevelt, Harry Houdini. He went down to Purchase, New York, and started his own health farm. He became the first commissioner in New York State of boxing and actually saved boxing back in 1921 to 24.
That's pretty cool there.
Isn't that something? And then
that's crazy.
So here I grow up, and my mom is the #1 genealogist in the whole area. And when I was 9, she said, I want to take you over to Belfast next door and show you some history. So she took me over there, and I actually got a tour from Pat Patterson, who was 9 years old when Sullivan was here. And he related stories to me of when Sullivan was here and what he used to do with Sullivan. So I actually shook the hand of John L. Sullivan. As a little boy, he was put in the back of a wagon and told to throw pebbles at Sullivan as he was being pulled through town, chained to the back of the horse and buggy. Now, why do you think that he would do that? Any guesses?
Make him stronger.
If you're running right now behind a wagon and I'm sitting in the back of it with a bucket of pebbles and I'm throwing them lightly at your head, what's your head doing to avoid them?
It dodges.
You're bobbing left and right while you're moving. He went from 260 pounds down to 190 pounds in 6 weeks here. He came in just 6 months earlier on crutches. He couldn't even walk due to alcoholism. Muldoon pulled him back up out of that, got him the tip-top shape of his life, and the fight was legendary. It happened in Richburg, Mississippi, which we now call Hattiesburg. I've been to the site. I've also been to the site right there in Mississippi City, only 3 miles from the Coliseum, where he beat Patty Ryan in 1882 in 9 rounds. It was such a famous fight, boys, that Jesse James and his brother Frank were there in disguise to watch it.
Now that is really cool there. That's cool.
So
that's cool.
We've had this dilapidated building in Belfast, New York, and people knew what it was, but the locals didn't really appreciate it that much. Think of any kind of attraction in your backyard that when you have friends over, family go, oh, we got to go there. And you never think twice about it. Well, this was in their backyard, but people kept wanting to see it. So after all these years, they came to me because it was dilapidated and they knew it. I liked unique things. And they said, Scott, would you save this building? I said, yeah, I'll save that building. I'll fix it up. They said, the only problem is you got to move it. I said, move it? I said, yeah, the way that Muldoon left it to the church, it had to be moved. So when you go through my website, you'll see where we had to cut it in half. We had 300 people there. We moved it all up. But boys, when we opened those doors up amongst the 14 cats, the ceiling that was down to your chin, the mud that was 14 inches on the floor, the end of the building that was down in the ground 22 inches, and all those cobwebs as you knocked them away was all of his equipment from 1889.
That's pretty cool. That's cool.
The shot put, the rings that he worked out on, the incorrectly called Indian clubs. They're really called swing clubs, a whole pile of them. And catch this. The chains from where he was chained down when he had too much to drink. His original punching bags. The original outline, the original mat that Muldoon wrestled him, took him up and trained him, showed him how to wrestle, because back then throwing was part of bare knuckle boxing. No, bare knuckle boxing back then, a round didn't go until your knee touched the ground. That was the end of the round, and you weren't judged on whether you won rounds or not. It's just the last man standing, and it got boring actually for fans to sit there for 2.5 hours and watch these two guys or whoever fight. Kilrain in the 1889 fight intentionally 9 times touched his knee to the ground within just a few seconds to get a break. So the promoters thought, what can we do to make boxing more interesting? What do the fans want? Oh, they want more knockouts. What can we do? What can we do? These guys don't want to throw and break their hands. Let's invent gloved fighting.
Yeah.
So then they put the gloves on the fighters' hands to protect the fighters' hands and encourage them to throw more punches. That's where it came from. Now, if we were to use today's rules, and I want you to know that, and a lot of people don't know this, is that in Mississippi, they go by Burt's rules of engagement. My rules. The state of Mississippi does. They've adopted the rules that I wrote. And if those rules were in place back then, where you had just timed rounds and determined winners at the end of each round, whoever won that round, you may never have seen gloved boxing. Gloved boxing was invented. The gloves were invented to protect the thrower's hands, not the receiver's head. But I think you guys knew that, but I think a lot of your fans didn't know that.
Any kind of that's really cool, actually. All this
now,
is
where do you here? I may come on again sometime, but let me throw you a couple little cool little trivia things. All right, guys.
Oh, I got you. This is good. I like this stuff.
You guys are in the cold area. You told me you were. What do you wear underneath your blue jeans to keep warm today or tomorrow or the next day?
Long johns.
Long what?
Long johns. Long johns.
Everybody calls them long johns. They don't know why. He was so popular. He wore the tights. And he had so many fans. The fans wore them and decided, hey, wow, we can wear the tights that Sullivan wore underneath our clothes to keep us warm. What are we going to call them? How about long johns?
Honestly, I did not know that. Holy shit. That's cool as hell. Because I mean, literally, I was wearing long johns today.
This is the first heavyweight fight that was photographed by 3 photographers and can be seen. There's one earlier that's not really can be seen very well, but these pictures were great. And I have them all blown up in the Hall of Fame, 3 foot wide. And as you see them in progression, they're great pictures too for the time. You look at one, and on the corner of one, there's a hat set during the whole fight, a derby sitting on the corner of the post. And I researched it. How many politicians have you ever heard say, you know what? You're right. I think I'll throw my hat into the ring on that. Ever heard anybody say that? Sure you have, right? Yeah. Sullivan's trademark move for when he had a fight, he would come on out, he would take off his hat and throw it into the ring. And from there, the politicians stole that idea. Not the politicians steal ideas. And used that terminology. Now, the other thing is Nellie Bly, the most famous reporter of the time, around the world in 80 days, checked herself into an insane asylum to report on it in the late 1800s, came to Belfast and interviewed Sullivan. It was the only female reporter allowed to interview him.
That's pretty cool.
She said to him, how did you lose all that weight? And he said, well, it's July. Muldoon makes me run. He says, I've gone from 260 to 190. He wants me to put 20 pounds back on. He wants me to fight at 210, which he did. He said, so he dresses me up and see that shirt over there in the corner. And they looked over and there's a wool shirt there and it's sopping wet and the whole area around it is all wet from sweat because he had just gotten back from his run. She said, what do you call that? And he said, Billy, referring to William Muldoon, Billy makes me wear that because I sweat, and he calls it my sweater. And that is where the terminology sweater came from.
No, that's really cool. I'll tell you what. John L was a cool guy, dude, man. I'll tell you what.
You got to come up here and take a look.
Walk
through that. I've had Leon Spinks. Oh my gosh, I've had all kinds of Livingston Bramble, Charles Murray, Baby Joe Macy. Rob Ray from the Sabres has been here. We inducted him as an honorary inductee. How many bare knuckle fights has he had in his lifetime?
Quite a few.
We have regular inductees, we have honorary inductees, and they all say there's nothing like walking in there. And fighters always say, "Oh my gosh, look at the goosebumps on my hand." Because I got pictures of Sullivan in there, and I can position you in the exact same position that he was in. People go, "Oh, it's just an empty barn." Oh, no. Oh, no. Way more than that. And then we've also next door to it have the Police Gazette offices from 1903, a huge walk-in vault where we store the diamonds, the diamond belts. And then in another block, and there's only like 3 blocks in all of Belfast, but this is really cool, guys. And I want you to get in it when you come down. I've got Apollo Creed's original ring from Rocky II.
I was waiting for you to announce that. I know. I've already seen that.
You've seen the picture from Rocky II where it's all white behind him, and he's skipping rope, and his manager's leaning back.
Yeah,
right?
That's it.
Yeah, I got that. I own that ring.
I told Jay, I said, "Jay, the Rocky ring's there."
Now,
I told him that's Jay.
For some reason, Cody, I hear that you might be in yourself in the ring here one of these days.
Oh yeah, we're gonna pop up in there, man. Jay,
now, listen,
we were talking.
I've had 2 or 3 fighters here, and you will be allowed to train under the rules that Muldoon and Sullivan trained under. I will allow you to use Sullivan's original equipment. I'll
cool.
show you the path that he ran. You will be able to run the same path that he ran, chop wood like he did at the end, and as a special treat, I will take you up to the local blacksmith, which is actually still in William Muldoon's original home, and you will blacksmith the same way that Sullivan did to work different muscle groups. Sound pretty cool?
That's cool as hell. Jay, that's in there, man.
And I will also allow you something very special. I will allow you to sleep in the room that Sullivan slept in the Hall of Fame.
Hey, that's it. Hey, Jay, that's all we talk about. Look, I love
history is history, and people always say, "Well, is it important?" I think we're starting to show it's pretty damn important. And
you need to learn history,
and that's why I got a call from Russia. I've gotten calls from another group in England. I'm going to London this weekend. This weekend for a week. We have got the Trigon. We've got BKFC. I've got Ken Shamrock and Valor, because it's history. It ties modern to the old. And the unique thing about us is that we are not tied to any promotion. We've been here 140 years, and people forget that until we talk like this, and they go, "Oh my God,
yeah,
that's right here, and I can go visit that." You remember Burt Sugar with the big hat and the cigar?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Do a lot of boxing, and he helped me turn this into a museum, gave me some guidance. And I said, "But Burt," I said, we don't even have a traffic light." He said, "Give it a couple of years, Scott, you'll have 2.
That's right.
Now I've got, and I know you don't want to go too long, but I've got a couple very, very special things I want to show you guys.
Yeah, no, that's just.
And as I move around it, I'll pause, because not only for you guys, but for the fighters that are on it, this is the first time that they will see their name on it. So I will pause so that later you can take some still shots and send it to the fighters. Now, what am I talking about?
The book.
I'm in my home right now, which is a Victorian home from 1884, coincidentally the same year that the Hall of Fame barns were built. But I brought some things over here to show you guys today. I took it out of the vault.
So shoot, the vault. Here we go. We got to see this.
Not only do I have the diamond belts here that I've shown you, in the American belt, and today there was something on the internet about the Boston belt. No one knew what to call it. that Frank Stallone has. I've got one too. It's right here. I'll talk about that. In fact, I could talk about it now. I'll show it to you. I was called into the Smithsonian a year and a half ago to identify theirs as the expert on belts. The one they have looks similar to the reproduction I have and that Frank's got. And there's probably about 10 or 12 around. They're pretty expensive, but I needed to have one. But the ones they have was made in the early 1900s for the World's Fair to be on display. And I'll talk about that a little bit. But what I want to show you is every fighter you've seen, Lorenzo, all those folks that win my diamond belt, get their name on the 140-year-old trophy. The massive bare knuckle trophy reserved just for the diamond champions, and I've got it here. So I don't know how to turn my phone around, so I'm gonna we'll play, and you tell me whether you can see it or not. Okay?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
In my house, being old as it is, it's very dark, so I got a flashlight in case you can't see it. So let's see if I can get this tier turned around. Now this is 3 foot tall. I don't know if you can see that or not.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I see it now.
That is the top, right? You tell me if you can't see it.
I can
move
see
the camera just a little bit. There you go.
To your left.
This way?
Yeah, that way. There you go.
Okay. And
Nice.
then look at all the patina. And now look at bare knuckle. And down here, between his feet, let's see if I can get it.
Move the camera.
There we go. Those are the gloves right here. He's dropped his gloves. I don't know if you can see that or not. So
can you turn the camera just a little bit, Scott? There you go.
Okay, that looks good there.
Can you see that?
Yeah.
All right.
And they could be able to zoom in if they want to.
You've got that's almost 40 inches tall, solid bronze. Got the gloves, got the fighter, got a ring down here, a 4-post ring. You know the history of the rings, don't you guys? Why it's called the history of it is it was called a ring because when you first started bare knuckle fighting, it was just a ring of people. That's it, the ring. And then it came to this 4-cornered, and that's called the squared circle because they squared the circle of people. So if you continue on with that, what we are using now in BKFC would actually technically be the circled square because they went around and switched it back. Of course, now you've got the trigon and all different kinds of shapes, and that's fine. Doesn't matter. But now here's what I want you to see. And each corner has got, I don't know, can you see that? I'm trying to line it up here. Each corner's got a fox's head on it. Guide me if you can't see it. You see that right there?
Okay, I can see it. I moved it close. I can
right?
See it, yeah. We'll have to get you.
Here, I'll put my finger on it.
Send them to us. Get you take some pictures. Get you take some pictures, and we can.
Yeah, I'll take some pictures. But what I want to show you.
That's pretty cool.
Now, can you see these? Can you see these shields?
Yeah, I saw them when I was up close.
I'm going to read them to you. Hattie Stewart, and I will take some stills and send them to you. Hattie Stewart, 1884. I put her on there. Back then, boys, they did not have. They complimented women, but they would not award them. My very first move was to move everybody to the right, and I added Hattie Stewart, 1884, as I promised all the women I would. Jax Dempsey, the middleweight, 1886. Jack McAuliffe, the lightweight, 1886. Jake Kilrain, 1887. John Havlin, a featherweight, 1888. Tommy Warren, a featherweight, 1888. Ike Weir, he's a featherweight, 1889. Then John L. Sullivan. Why the gap? Because all these other fighters happened that same year in between. Bobby Gunn, heavyweight champion, 2011. His official record being inducted into the Hall of Fame is 2 wins, 0 losses. And he was inducted because he was the first American, he was the first fighter to win a title legally in America. And that was in 2011. Then we jumped to 2013. Beck Rawlings, And now we go around the corner. And these are the guys. Well, the first one they've seen it. Joey Beltran, 2019. Now, here's the next one, boys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They have never seen this before. Here's Luis Palomino's shield. Here is Dat Wynn's shield. Johnny Bedford's shield. Arnold Adams. And we come around here, and here we've got Lorenzo Hunt. And I will take individual pictures for you, but that is the first time anyone has ever seen
badass.
Those names on there.
That's nice there. That's actually really, that's pretty cool there too.
Now, and the other thing I want to show you, and then you can cut me off if you want. I'm sorry, I get so damn excited about this stuff,
you're
boys.
good.
But this is the other thing people have been wanting to see. These are the medallions, right? You guys know all about the medallions.
Yes, sir.
Right? Come from the original mold, 1850s. Each one is numbered on the back. And their names, I always say, goes into a leather book.
Yep.
Here they are. And these are large, large leather-bound books. Police Gazette Corporation official record of awards. And the Bare Knuckle Boxing Hall of Fame official record of inductees. So what you do is you take this one. I'm trying to hold it so you can see it. And you open it up. And there are all the names of all the fighters and all the numbers, all calligraphied for history to see.
So now, basically, I mean, that's cool for the fact of anybody that, you ever fight, say 100 years from now.
That's right.
Logan's ever, it's intact. That's pretty cool because, I mean, each medal's logged in. I did not know that, actually.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
They're all numbered, and there they are. This is a stack of.
They're heavy, too.
Show you here maybe next time if we've gone too far this time.
Oh, no, you're cool.
Yeah, you want to see? Okay.
Oh, yeah, Lord, yeah, I want to see these belts.
All right.
We got that picture of that one belt we were talking about.
All right. Well, the first belt here, I'm going to open it up. I'm going to set the phone down so I can turn it around.
I wonder how much $20,000 would have been back in 1880 something.
There you go, boys.
when he said that, I've been thinking about that. I mean, think about it.
Boston belt, okay?
Okay, that's it. Whoa, that's the go.
Okay. This is the one that was on the internet today, and I have my copy here. Originally, this was all diamonds, and Sullivan loved this belt, but he pried diamonds out of it to support his drinking habit. And the original has been long lost. He gave it to put on display in an antique shop and never knew what happened to it. They thought they had the original one at the Smithsonian. They called me in a year and a half ago, and I identified it as no. It was not. Now, this is nothing like, well, no, I take that back. These reproductions are not the quality of the one in the Smithsonian. And if you've ever been to the Smithsonian, guys, there's only 1% of everything upstairs. 99% of their entire collection is downstairs, and they gave me a 3-hour tour. But the one down there, they have this here. It's a real picture, and it is raised beveled glass. Let's see where make sure you can see where I'm pointing here. Yeah, right here.
Was that real gold?
People that don't know say, "Oh, gee, Sullivan must be him without his mustache." Come on, ask the historian. This is Sullivan. This is his manager of the time. Okay, yeah, why do people guess on social media and think that they're experts? If I was gonna have my house plumbed, and I didn't know anything about plumbing, I'm going to ask the plumber. I'm not going to just guess and do it myself. I'm going to set this down.
That's how people are. That's how people are. They do that. That's what people are sick. But no, I mean, hey, Chachi, pop that belt up. The belt he was just showing. Pop that one up that Frank Salone, Sylvester's brother, shared today on Facebook.
Yeah, I met Frank up in Canastota. We always go up there every year.
He seemed really nice, and wait a second. He'll pop it up. It's pretty cool. It looks really like when I saw this.
Yeah, it's the same as the one I just showed you, except my lighting is not good where I am, and that one is lit up pretty good. That's not an original. That's a reproduction also.
Hold on. I don't hear. Did he pop it up? Hey, Chachi, are you there, Chachi? Chachi.
This is one you haven't seen in a while, guys. This is my American belt. I have 2 belts that I give out: an American Police Gazette belt and a World Police Gazette belt. But
okay, that's okay.
We're working on getting a belt, a Police Gazette Canadian belt, a Police Gazette American belt, a Police Gazette British belt, a Police Gazette Irish belt, and then each one of those. And when fighters get their belts, they get to keep them. But the overriding belt is the diamond belt. So here's my American belt. Let's see if you can see it.
Oh, that's nice, actually.
Now, is that coming to you upside down, guys?
It's coming clear now. It's coming like
fine.
sideways. That's fine there. That's really nice,
down?
actually. No, that's good there.
Okay, so you can see I've got the middle here, and we've got the original. You have for another day. I'll show you the original molds. But it's American Champion, red, white, and blue, and gold. And then as we move this up,
that's cool.
You can see, and these are not inexpensive belts. These are very expensive belts.
Oh, they're heavy. I picked one up there. Those belts are heavy.
They weigh almost 20 pounds. And here is the one that fighters will just really, really, really want to get their hands on, and they know it's immediate legacy because of everything I've shown you so far. The trophy that's around forever, the medallions with the numbers and the ledgers here in Knuckletown, USA. But here is the obvious one you've seen before, and this is the diamond belt. We like to say real silk, real sterling, real diamonds, and real history. And nothing compares to it.
And they're heavy. Those are heavy.
Yeah, they are. And then the last thing I want to show you is I'm going to walk you into here in my room, my front room.
But those are heavy. Those are really heavy.
And can you see the white statue, boys?
Yes, I see that. What is that? It's John L. That's John L's. That's him.
John L.
Yeah,
that's a very important piece, though. That was made in 1888 by a very, very famous artist. It's 2.5 feet tall. It's much bigger than it looks. And the artist only made 2 of them, boys. And one he kept, and one went to John L. Sullivan. And because of what I'm doing, I acquired it from the Sullivan family.
That's pretty. Hey, when you get a statue like that, that's really nice.
Isn't that
actually,
something? Yeah.
Hey, how heavy is it? Is it heavy?
Just for the heck of it. Here, I want to show you this.
Is it heavy? Is it really, really heavy?
Yeah. It's plaster though. It's plaster.
Okay.
But it weighs about 15 pounds at least. I told you I restore things. I'll show you. This is my home that we're in now, 1884, and I restored the whole thing. This is an original postcard. And when I restored the Hall of Fame, I got as many early pictures that I could of it to restore it. But this is an early postcard of my home. It was a Sears home. They brought it in on the train and put it together in pieces.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I know. I've read history on those, actually.
Yeah. Now, here's something that I gave one out to Britain at our induction this year, and I gave one out to Bonnie Mann at our induction this year because those 2 women came and graced us with their presence. And it's this sterling butter dish. Can you see the sterling butter dish, guys? See it right here?
I see it. Yes.
You're probably scratching your head going, what the hell is that all about? Well, again, history, knowledge. I do this all the time, all the day, every day, guys. Watch. Pick it up. You open it up, and I'll read it to you. And it says, Police Gazette Boxing Corporation's Silver Butter Dish Award commemorates the 1876 Saunders versus Harland fight. 2 women fought. Saunders, who won, and Harland in 1876. And as the winner of the fight, the Police Gazette did not give them a belt. They gave them a sterling silver butter dish.
Oh, that's crazy. Hey, have you ever put any butter on it? I mean, I also.
Isn't that cool?
No, that is very, 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 very cool. But Mr. Scott, I know we wanted to do segments because we wanted people to be able to.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, no, the Long Johns. Like, I'm serious. I am baffled. I wear Long Johns all the time. And I'm telling you, we do trivia a lot, and I'm going to get somebody on that. That is one of the that's one of the coolest stories.
Yeah. Well, I knew when we first talked before we went on air, you said, well, we usually go about 20 minutes, 25 minutes. I said, if you want, but I have an idea, you're going to start, and the fans are going to start to enjoy it. And, you know, what's kind of obvious is you can see my passion towards it. I'm a retired teacher, and I just enjoy educating folks. People think I do this for some ungodly reason, and that's beneficial to myself. And that's the problem, is that in the boxing world, people don't do what I do. I do this only to honor the fighters. That's it. That's it. I travel around on my own dime. We bring out the belts and everything and on my own dime. And I just really, really enjoy helping the fighters. And now the promoters are seeing that, and the promoters are helping financially. And that's the way it should be. But, you know, they needed to know that it is important to the fighters. And it is important to the fighters.
Oh, man. Definitely.
Yep.
They all talk about their medal. They talk about their medals. They talk about the Police Gazette, Gazette this. I mean, history's history. That's what I tell everybody. I mean, the best pizza places in New York, they've been there 100 years. Those ovens are 100-year old. You can't replace history. History is it's what made it.
So I apologize a little bit about eating up a lot of time here. Do you two guys have some questions about what I've shown you so far?
Look, first off, this ain't what you should. When John L was doing his trainings, you know those the big what did you call those big the weighted sticks that he used?
They look like bowling pins. They're incorrectly called Indian clubs. They're properly called swing clubs, and they were actually part of the Olympics from 1900 to 1920. And his trainer, William Muldoon, is fully credited with bringing back the importance of the medicine ball. It was a lost art for several years.
I've had some bad things with that.
He said, there is something important. Let's bring that back. So you know what I did? You've seen the white boxing leather gloves I have that we sell to raise money to help restore the building. And God, 140-year-old wooden structure needs help all the time. And people use them for autographs. I just ordered 40 leather medicine balls that say John L. Sullivan, William Muldoon, and it's got our Hall of Fame logo on them, and they're black and white. They're gorgeous. And so we'll be bringing them out for autographs too, for people to do that.
What's the weight going to be on
them? They are 15 pounds.
Man,
and we sell them for one price, loaded up with sand, but we sell them cheaper just as they are. What you do is you get them home and you go to the hardware and pick up some play sand and take a night and have a beer and fill it. But if you do it right though, Cody, if you do it right, you've got to find yourself some Bass, Bass ale, ale, because that was Sullivan's favorite.
Okay. So I gotta go. I gotta go full Sullivan on this. I'm gonna go.
Muldoon knew he could not cut an alcoholic down to nothing, so he allowed him to have one ale a day. That was it. You got time for one cool? We got time for one funny story?
Oh hell yeah! This is awesome. Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right.
No, this is awesome.
So this is one of my favorite stories that I do during the tour. There's other ones where he ripped the bar out from across the street and down the street. That's a whole nother story. But this one, back then, guys, they would spike the water between rounds with whiskey to help deaden the pain. The water boys did. Yep.
I didn't know that.
A pretty good shot of whiskey too. Well, Muldoon knew that he had gotten Sullivan off of alcohol and relying on it. So he told his corner, for this fight, do not spike his water. Don't spike it. They said, okay. Well, at the end of the 44th round, Sullivan threw up violently, head over the rail, throwing up. Kilrain called for the fight, said, "John, you're done. I win, right?" And he says, I won't say the words he said, but he said, "No, I'm not done." He was a little more strong than that.
Yeah.
Threw in a couple adjectives. And then and afterwards, come to find out, his corner decided he was in too much pain and spiked his water, and his body wasn't used to it, and
Oh.
threw up.
Oh.
So at the end, the reporters went up to the seconds in the corners and said, "Hey, weren't you afraid that Johnny was all done and that you had ruined him when you spiked his water at the end of the 44th?" And they said, "No, no. We know Johnny very, very well. He kept down the whiskey and threw up the water."
Hey, I didn't even know the water thing like that. That's pretty cool, actually. It makes a lot of sense.
Well, you are of the right attitude, Cody, and that is admitting that you don't know that stuff.
Yeah.
There's so many people on social media that will not admit any of that. They think they can read a half an article. I mean, this is what I do every single day. And then I'll get calls from people that say, "Oh, I'm related to John L. Sullivan. He was my great-great-great-grand." No, you weren't. I'm sorry. He only had one child, and the child passed away at an early age.
Yeah.
It is just, but you have the right attitude, and I can see in your mind that you're telling yourself, "I have to come to Belfast and walk through that Hall of Fame." And
no, it's cool. I love history. History's like, and like that those sticks and all that.
And I'll teach you the right way to do it. We've trained a couple fighters here, the Muldoon Burt method, where I've taken Muldoon's methods and altered them slightly, but not much. And we feed the same food, and you have to change clothes every time before you eat. Once you do eat, you cannot do anything for an hour and a half. Muldoon said the body had to absorb and digest before they could do anything else. And what I want you to do tomorrow morning, very simple, very simple. Muldoon would break Sullivan down and then build him back up the military way. That's the only way you could get a guy to listen to him. And imagine Mike Tyson doing this, right? You got to break him down and build him up. Tomorrow
that's what
morning,
they say.
Both of you, you and Jay, tomorrow morning, when you get dressed in the morning, after your shower or whatever, I don't want you to sit down on anything to get dressed. I want you to put your socks on, your underwear, your t-shirt, your shoes, everything, and do not sit on anything. Now, what you're going to notice right away is your balance and a different stretch in some of your muscles.
That is true.
Simple things like that, boys. And it's just, Muldoon was always thinking.
Above technology. Technology back then, it's unreal what he did.
Yeah. He was always thinking of different things. That's where that. Now, Customato, Mike Tyson's famous trainer. And I know Mike and I have had a couple talks about history, and he is one of the best historians on boxing out there, believe it or not, because Cuss made him sit down as part of his training and understand the boxing world and history. He was telling me about Bob Fitzsimons, the first 3-weight champion, and he fought just after the bare knuckle era. And he was talking about all these other all these people that were early on this trophy. He knows them. He knows all about it. And I tell fighters today, I'll tell these fighters, you need to, and I hate when someone says you need to, but in this case they do. If this is their livelihood, they need to take some time and research and understand here's Hattie Stewart. Okay, so every single female bare knuckle boxer of today should know about Hattie Stewart.
That is true.
Easy.
Yeah.
And it's easy to find out how many rounds she fought, what her weight was, who she won, how she won. That butter dish I showed you. Every single
cool.
female fighter should look up those names and know where the beginnings were in America. Now we're going to London. We're going to London. We are just a baby in London. I mean, London has had for centuries and centuries. Their history is steeped in it. And I'm just so lucky and so grateful to be able to go over there and experience it with my eyes wide open, because I'll see, oh my God, in America, we're the oldest. But in the world, compared to them, we don't compare
we're
at all.
Babies. We're babies.
At all. I'm just so happy that I have the opportunity to go over there and show them that we're all in this together. And
hey, it's going to make the fighters, eventually the fighters will be thanking you, because the more promotion worldwide, everything, if people do it together and stuff, it's more money for the fighters down the road. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. That's why I was going to tell you, Mr. Scott. Like I see you at your events, how you're there doing all the stuff you're doing and things. Yeah. And I mean, it's not. I mean, let's just be honest, you're not getting rich off this. You're doing it straight for passion right now and everything. Yeah. And I respect for that, because at the end of bare knuckle, when 50 years from now, the history of bare knuckle and this time right now, the modern day of bare knuckle, they'll be talking about Scott Burks, what he did, just like that. That's all. Your name and your legacy is everything. That's what I tell everybody.
Well, they talk about Richard K. Fox a lot. He was the only one in charge of it before me. Then he lost interest once bare knuckling was forced underground. It was forced underground. We could put it on social media and see how many of the so-called experts can tell you. It was forced underground because of the church.
The
church did not want the bare knuckle fighting. So it was forced underground, and that's how bare knuckle came to an end. It was kind of accepted. Like in this fight here where Sullivan fought Kilrain, the tickets were $20, and that included a front row seat and a train ride, and you didn't know where the hell you were going. And back then that was a lot of money. But the guy, but the person though, the local constable stood up and said, "This is all illegal. This is all illegal. You're all going to be arrested." And then he sat down and watched the whole fight.
Hey, usually your biggest haters are your biggest fans. So, I mean, he probably loved it. He probably complained afterwards, but he loved it.
Oh, yeah. And then, of course, they did lock up Sullivan. Sullivan was locked up for a few days. Kilrain was locked up for 6 months. I guess it pays to win, doesn't it?
You making $20K back in the 1800s?
Oh man,
that's pretty. I don't know what it's worth. It's been baffling me since you said that. I'm thinking in my head. I'm like, okay, $20K now. If a fighter, you ask these bare knuckle fighters, they're oh shit, yeah, right now. But back then, $20K, what is that? Probably like a couple 100,000 or something back then.
Oh, way more than that.
About $1 million. About $1 million.
But he took half of it, boys. He took half of it in New York City and went up on top of one of the tall buildings and threw it off the edge to his fans below.
That's a gangster. He's a gangster. OG. Here you go. Just take it. I don't need it. Just enough to buy me a couple of bottles. That's all I need.
Now another day, guys, I'll tell you all about why he was stripped of his belt and how that worked out.
Next episode. That's what we'll do. We'll make a big deal about it, because
why was he stripped? How did that happen? And how did Belfast come in to solve that problem? But I'm going to leave you though with another trivia question.
Okay, I got it. I like this. Let's see. I'm gonna get this.
Did Sullivan wear wraps?
Did he wear wraps?
Yeah, you bare knuckle fighting. Bare knuckle fighting.
Like the tape.
Right here, guys, is all bare knuckle, right? Did he wear any wraps when he fought?
I'm going to guess no.
Everyone guesses no, because every picture you see of him, there is none. And back then in America, there was absolutely no wraps. Absolutely no wraps. But the answer to the question is yes.
Oh.
But here's how, though. If you study and look at those old pictures of him and Sullivan and Kilrain in the mud ring, it was just dirt, guys. They wore their long johns and they wore football cleats. That's how they fought in there. But you look at bending over on top of Kilrain when Kilrain is down, you will see just above the top waist of his long johns or his tights, you will see something sticking out all the way around his belly. The wrap that they wore back then lasted only about 4 to 5 rounds. They would wrap from the belly button to their groin as tight as they could and cover it with wraps and cover it with plaster to try to. They felt the support there helped them, and then they pulled their long johns up over it. So the answer to the question: did Sullivan wear wraps? Yes. Did he wear them on his hands, wrists? No, never. But he wore them.
Hey, that rap sounds important. That kind of sounds like it was kind of like his own little cup a little bit. Kind of sound like,
Yeah.
Like
it didn't go down it didn't go down that far. It went for only about 4 inches from the bottom of the belly button down. Kind of like what the fighters are wearing today. That are thicker. But
that's really cool. Actually, that's technology back then. Technology, every generation.
Yeah.
But
the next time we talk too, I'll also tell you about Sullivan's when he trained here and went into the river and cut his leg badly and the fight almost never happened. How he almost died. About the stained glass windows in Belfast that he donated. How he used to go down and have dinner with the church ladies. All that kind of stuff. And another segment.
He sound like a cool OG. Like throwing money off, going to eat dinner with women at churches, fighting people, tied to the bed. He's got a daggone good story to his life. I'm going to tell you right now.
Hated training. Hated training. Loved people. And in the end of his career, again, when people post things, this and that, he was a teetotaler. And spoke against drinking and never drank the last few years of his life. Actually,
that's cool.
He was a temperance man. It was too late back then, though, to save him. The alcohol had ravaged his body already. Remember when I told you he was on crutches before he came here? He was only 31. The doctor had told him to go see his father and say goodbye to him because he's not going to live another year. And that's when Muldoon stepped in.
That's pretty cool, actually. Wow. So around 31. Okay.
So I know you guys see me. I know you guys see me at the Trigon and at BKFC and all those things. And I'm the guy that's smiling with the stupid suits and the shoes and got the belt there that means something. Well, thanks for inviting me to come on because now you can see that the history and doing something for our fighters is my passion. And I do it for no other reason other than to honor fighters who for centuries and centuries have put their life on the line and always seem to have played second fiddle.
Mr. Scott, you going over to England, that's mad respect, that's dedication, and all the stuff that y'all got going. And like I said, there's a lot of big fights coming up at BYB with the police and all that things. And we're going to have...
Look. You got Josh Burns versus Mark Godbeer for the inaugural, the first ever super heavyweight police Gazette. Oh my God. Jay, I heard you were instrumental in helping out and make that happen. I'm telling you, there's a lot of pluses for that. And it shows that people are willing to come together for the sake of a sport and do whatever they have to. On my end in particular, the invention of the super heavyweight division was done purely for safety. I don't want to see a 290-pound fighter fighting a 225-pound for a heavyweight title.
That is true.
I don't want to see that because even if they are qualified and veterans, if something goes wrong, it's very obvious that it shouldn't have happened.
That's a big difference.
In hindsight. So I like the super heavyweight. I do not like these guys having to cut weight, drying out their brain. And then that's where the damage comes, is because now it's a dry brain that's getting hit. We don't want that. And on a side note, if you ever see an old time fighter who has a little bit of trouble speaking, he was never a bare knuckler. Bare knucklers never suffered that kind of repetitive abuse. See, with gloves, that padding, you're hit over and over and over and over again because the guy he's not going to worry about breaking his hand.
Well, it's protecting your hands. That's what it's doing.
Right.
It's not your head. It's not
with
protecting your
bare
head.
knuckle. They're waiting for the one or two. Of course, we've all seen the pummelings, but the referee stops it right away. And then with gloves, you're like, did he have enough? Did he not have enough? Is he done?
Let's go again.
Done? You know, and it's just, I've never seen, and I know a lot of old time bare knucklers. Every single one of them can speak very nicely. And so I'm number one, I'm for safety. Number two, I'm for honoring the fighters who entertain us. And you know, they've said it, I've said it, you know it, everybody knows it. Purses, money comes, money goes. Sullivan was the first ever athlete to make $1 million. He was also the first ever athlete to declare bankruptcy. But why are we talking about him? Because of his titles, his belt.
Legacy.
Right.
And every fighter you talk to now says, money comes, money goes, for that diamond belt. Because you guys know, I don't take those diamond belts back. And they are expensive. You win a diamond belt from the Police Gazette, it is yours.
I did not. That's fucking awesome, Scott. See, oh my God, why you got any haters, man? That's what I was saying. Dude, I would tell you right now, man, Scott.
You got to have a few or else you're not successful.
That's a big, I picked that belt up, Scott. That ain't a cheap belt. That's nice.
Diamonds and sterling and silk. I was talking to Joe Riggs in Montana. We were sitting down having a nice conversation. And Joe said to me, he said, Scott, he says, I got to tell you, for what you do and how you come around and support us, I give you just awesome respect. And then a couple minutes later, we were talking about the belt. And I told him that, well, you know, up to this point, I've paid for every single belt out of my own pocket just for you guys. He looked at me and said, oh my God, there is just nobody I know of in the boxing world like that does that. He says, I had so much respect for you before, and now I've got even more. And I don't say that for any other reason other than, damn it, the fighters deserve that. That's the only reason I say it. Yeah.
That's awesome. And Mr.
Awesome.
Scott, what we'll do, Chachi, the way we'll end it today, we always end it with our famous clap. So we'll end it on that. Wait, but listen, hey, Scott, I wanted to thank you for coming on tonight.
Yeah.
We're going to upload it. We'll upload it Monday night. It'll come on prime time. We just wanted people to know they got to get to the Hall of Fame. They got to check your outfits out. You always have the smoothest stuff. I'm just saying.
Thanks, Cody.
But Mr. Scott, keep doing what you're doing. Always remember your haters are your biggest fans. I always tell everybody that on our show. They're gonna always click on it before anybody else clicks on it. Always remember that.
My father always told me, Scott, he says, no matter what you do, don't worry if anybody says anything. He says the time you worry about it is when no one ever comments at all.
Yeah.
Then you're in trouble.
Yes.
Right.
Awesome.
But we've been here 140 years. We'll be here another 140. And just to let you in on something else, I'm starting the process of passing it on to my son. He loves it. You'll start to be seeing him at some of these events.
Oh, that's cool.
It's going to move right. It's going to move right along and stay right where it is.
Awesome, Scott. Legacy.
Same mentality as I am. Yep.
Awesome. Well, hey, Chachi, we'll end it on our claps. Thank you so much today, Mr. Scott and Jay.
Scott.
Yep. Until next time, guys. We'll do another one.
Yes, sir.
Right, awesome.
Thank you.
All right.
You can go ahead. All right, end it on it, Chachi.